Okay, so imagine you're taking a drive down one of the most famous coastlines in the entire world. But this time, we're not just looking at those huge, sweeping views. Nope. We're on the hunt for a small, vibrant secret that's been hiding in plain sight along Highway 1. Let's get into it. Our story starts right here, on Highway 1 in Big Sur, California. And this landscape is famous for a reason, right? You've got the Santa Lucia Mountains just crashing right into the Pacific Ocean. Millions of people drive this road every year, and you're just totally captivated by this massive, epic view. But on one drive, photographer and author John Balcom started to notice something different. Not the huge vista, but something small, surprising. As he was driving, he kept seeing these sudden, unexpected splashes of brilliant red against the gray rock. It was this little detail that just didn't fit, and it sparked a mystery. And that's our first chapter, a real mystery right there on Highway 1. What in the world was this flash of color? I mean, think about it. In a place that's all about blues and greens and grays, what was out there painting the cliffs red? He was curious, so he pulled over at the first spot he could, and he actually walked back along that narrow highway to go investigate. And what he found was the answer to the whole puzzle, and it's the star of our explainer today, the Low Canyon Dudleya. And here, you can really see the power of just changing your perspective. On the left, that's the habitat as you'd see it from the road. Just a steep, kind of boring rock face. But when you get up close, on the right, well, those splashes of red are revealed. It's not paint, it's not a trick of the light, it's a stunningly beautiful plant, literally clinging to the rock. Now this tiny plant, of course, has a name. Botanically, it's Dudleya cymosa subspecies pumila. Yeah, that's a mouthful. But around here, it's known more simply as the Low Canyon Dudleya, a really vibrant succulent that makes a huge impression. So it turns out, this one little plant is actually part of a much, much bigger family. So, it's time to properly meet the Dudleya genus.
See, our Low Canyon Dudleya isn't alone. There are around 65 different species and subspecies in its family, which makes it a super diverse and fascinating group of succulents.
The whole genus gets its name from William R. Dudley, who is a botanist over at Stanford University. They're part of the stonecrop family, and you'll mostly find them all along the West Coast. We're talking from Oregon all the way down to Baja California, and a few species have even made their way inland to places like Arizona and Nevada. But the real heartland, I mean the absolute epicenter of Dudleya diversity, is right here in California. Get this, a whopping 53 of the 65 species and subspecies are found in the Golden State. It's pretty much the perfect place to go looking for these little gems. Okay, so let's zoom back in on our Big Sur species and see how it possibly manages to survive in such a tough spot. This is what we're calling life on the edge. Just look at this environment. I mean, these plants aren't living in some soft, comfy garden soil. They grow on these steep, almost vertical rock faces, just finding a tiny foothold in little cracks and crevices. It's an amazing testament to how resilient they are. So how do they do it? Well, the key is this really dramatic seasonal transformation. In the winter, when the rains finally come, their leafy rosettes get all fat and plump, storing up every single drop of water they can. Then in the summer, they use all that stored up energy, get a little leaner, and produce those incredible, vibrant flowers that first caught our traveler's eye. And you can really see the transformation. It's pretty stark. On the left, there's the winter look, all plumped up and full of that life-giving water. Then on the right, that's the summer state, leaner, tougher, and putting every bit of its energy into that spectacular bloom. It's this whole feast or famine cycle played out in one tiny, tough plant. So really, the plant's whole year is just a brilliant strategy for survival. It fattens up on that winter rain, it puts on its big, spectacular show between May and August, and then, during the driest parts of summer, it gets a little boost from that famous coastal fog, which helps take the edge off the drought. Which brings us to our big takeaway. What this tiny plant really tells us about Big Sur's hidden beauty. When you finally stop and actually look closely, this is what you see. This intricate, fiery beauty that was just a splash of red from inside a moving car. It's just such a great reminder that the most amazing details are often right there, just waiting for us to slow down. At the end of the day, that's what this is all about. We can visit a place 100 times and think we know it inside and out. But even in the world's most epic, most photographed landscapes, there are these incredible, tiny stories of survival and beauty, just hidden in plain sight, waiting for us to find them. So, that really leaves us with one last question for you. It's always easy to see the big picture, right? The grand vista. But what happens when you decide to stop, look a little closer, and search for the small wonders? What hidden stories are just waiting to be discovered in a landscape that you love?